Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. This is one of our public roundtables. In fact, it is the 469th 1M by 1M public roundtable. And we've been doing this for a long time. We've been doing this since the fall of 2008. So a lot of experience is accumulated here. The event is being recorded. You'll find recordings of this and all our roundtables on our YouTube channel, 1M1M Roundtable. On Twitter, we're at 1M1M and at Shromana. You can, if you're live tweeting today, use hashtag 1M1M. These are the call-in instructions. We're not quite ready for call-in yet. We have some scheduled programming. We have 5 pitches before we open the line up for call-in, but you will be able to call in and interact for sure. It is a roundtable, not a broadcast. We want you to come in and call and talk and weigh in. In the meantime, the public chat is wide open. Please feel free to use it and interact. We actually do not have a guest today. We have 5 entrepreneurs pitching. I just want to set some expectations before I kick off that session. This is a safe working session. We are on your side. We have no other agenda but to help you accelerate your journey. So feel free to discuss candidly what is it that you're struggling with, what bothers you, and we will do our best to help. If you disagree with my feedback, that's fine. It's your venture. You are the final decision maker, so no problem. We are going to start with Anandth Shoban from Chennai, India. Anandth, please unmute your line and tell us what you're doing.
Hi, Sharmana. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing great. Okay, since I'm the first person today, I would like to welcome everybody with a warm greetings. Okay, so to brief about me, I am Anandth Shoban, the CEO of Ouja Development Center, India Private Limited. Okay, my journey started from the year 2017 with a pioneer idea. So I basically come up with new ideas, but this idea inspired me so much to put into a product. So after so much of feedbacks and discussions, I finalized to develop this product by myself as a bootstrapped company. The pioneers, currently my product is in a mobile application, which is available in Google Play Store and Apple App Store. Okay, I started this application with a pioneer idea, one service called instant delivery, or otherwise called as hyperlocal delivery or intra-city delivery. Okay, currently now we are providing 4 services, but I'll tell you one by one. Okay, what does instant delivery do? If you forgot something at your home, for example, your ID card or your laptop, or you wanted to collect your food packet from one place to another place, you can just ring up to Ouja or just put up an order in the application saying that, hey, pick up my consignment from this location and drop it to the other location. So it creates an order. So our delivery captain would show up in the pickup location. He will collect the consignment and he delivers it to the destination on behalf of you. Okay, so how does this happen? And this happens with the security that we ensure that the consignment is not mishandled. So while picking the product, the delivery captain asks for an OTP from the concerned person. Once that OTP is validated, then he takes the consignment to destination. Again, at the drop location, he asks for the OTP. Once the OTP is validated, he gives away the consignment. Okay, so this is benefiting many people in my city and my state. And we also come up with different emotional and sensitive scenarios nowadays. Okay, initially my idea, it started like benefiting person who has forgotten something or wants to send across a package or wants to transport any things. But now it has turned a little bit emotional. Like I wanted to give you a few examples which occurred lively in last 6 months of our operations. So we have a customer, okay, who's a mother, and she has a 3-month-old baby. Okay, unlikely she has to show up to the work after a delivery. So now the hospital has provided her a kit, some cold storage kit. So what does she do? She takes up the kit to the office. She just stores the milk, the mother milk, and she gives that kit to our delivery captains. We guys take it and give it to the uh, place where the baby is, and the baby is taken care by her grandmother, it seems. So we hand over the kit to the grandmother. So that milk will be served until she comes back home. This is one service
Mm-hmm.
which made us really, 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 really happy, and which made ourselves so much proud for doing this service.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is like it was a little bit funny. uh, a student has forgotten his hall ticket and he's gone to the exams. So immediately, his mom called up us in a WhatsApp only. In WhatsApp, she just put up a message and she called us and saying that my son has missed the hall ticket, and can you guys give this to him? And immediately we went, we collected the hall ticket and we gave him the college before appearing for the exam. Like this, we come up
Mm-hmm.
with many good scenarios. I mean, like one customer wanted to give, I mean, like buy medicines for his friend, and he wants delivered. I mean, he wants us to deliver it for him. And also one customer whose mom was hospitalized. Okay, he wants to send a changing clothes for his mom, but he's unable to travel at that time because he has come up from the hospital. So we went on his behalf and handed over the clothes to his mom. Like this, I mean, this is how sensitive our service has been, and we service in three sectors: B2B, B2C, and C2C.
Okay.
Sarvana, I'm sorry, I'm not going with slide by slide. I'm just
That's
going on
fine, but
random.
to speed up a little bit,
Yeah.
so we
Okay.
understand what you're doing. Is there anything else that you want to?
Yes.
Said you have
There's three more. Yeah.
type services.
Okay. The three more other services we are also handling. It is bike taxi. So initially I told about the consignment. Now we transport a person from one location to other location. It is bike taxi. The third is it's an auto. You must have heard about auto. It's a three-wheeled cabin. Okay. I mean the bike taxi carries one person, but auto takes up three persons at a time. And the fourth service is truck. So our ultimate goal is to, I mean, like put forth our product in the genre of in the industry of deliveries and commute. So we make sure deliveries and commute is so easy for the end users and for also the business people or even the industries. We are also going up with corporate tie-ups where we provide them bikers, trucks for transporting their materials from one location to other location. This is what the service we are doing. The company was established in 2018 and it has crossed 1 year of operation successfully. Now we are stepping into second year. So now,
And where is
um,
these orders that what you're doing right now in terms of all these different types of businesses? Where is the bulk of the activity? Is it in the instant delivery, hyperlocal delivery? Is it in autos? Where is the maximum activity?
okay, this our services has been available in Chennai, Hyderabad, and Coimbatore in South India. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, like our orders can be booked through website, mobile applications, and through WhatsApp. So predominantly, we are showing up ourselves in South India, and we are looking forward to expand ourselves every state and more.
No,
We are
no,
also
answer my
coming up.
question. I asked you a specific question, Anand. Which service is generating the maximum revenues right now?
It's instant delivery.
So, my number one suggestion to you is to focus on one service and not four services because you're unnecessarily complicating matters and you don't need to do that. Investors do not like, and you shouldn't be in so many businesses. You should be in one business, and instant delivery is a complicated enough business, and it would take you a lot of effort to scale just that business. You don't need to be in so many businesses. That's my number one feedback to you.
Okay, I agree.
You should not be in so many businesses. So
Okay,
let's talk
I'm
about
just
instant delivery. And what is the business model of instant delivery? How do you get paid?
okay. So as I told you, the consumers, the end users, put the order in the application. So we give three types of options for them to pay us. It is cash on
Mm-hmm.
delivery, or through card. I mean swiping card, or it's like UPI on online transactions, or Google
How much
Pay
do you
or
charge?
Paytm.
How much
I
do you
mean, like,
charge?
it's based upon kilometers, not upon the weight. Okay, we charge across 5 rupees per kilometer.
Okay. So
Okay,
what
for
is the current revenue of the company?
so the current revenue is generating in from all the three sectors: B2B, B2C, and C2C. So apart from this, we are also generating to the corporate tie-up. So the burning rate is almost like 5 lakhs per month currently.
Mm-hmm.
The revenue is 4.23 last month what we have achieved.
Okay, so you almost break even.
Oh, yeah, almost, but we are a little bit struggling because sometimes some months we'll be increasing the digital marketing stuff or like other expenditures like delivery bags, t-shirts, the additional things, miscellaneous expenses would come up. And sometimes even development team has to be enlarged, and those all comes up.
Right.
Almost
So,
we are coming up with breakeven.
that's all this being, because of all these, I reiterate my number one advice is you should only do the hyperlocal delivery business. You should not be in this other stuff, taxis and three-wheelers and all that. You don't need to be in all those businesses. It's just going to complicate your life and tax your resources, and you need to focus very crisply on just the hyperlocal delivery business, which you seem to have got a hang of. So keep doing that. What is your question? What brings you here?
I'm now looking for investors, so I just wanted to expose myself in front of you so that I would get some advices and guidance and how to take it forward. And that's what showed up.
Investors will not like it at all if you're in multiple businesses. So the fact that you have validated this piece and this is working, what is the competition in this business? Do you have competition?
Yeah, I do a competitors. Okay, I mean, like, not for all the 4 services. I have a competitor in hyperlocal, one individual person, and for taxi, I have one more competitor called Rapido. And for
no, you don't. I'm not interested in on these other services. I'm only interested in hyperlocal delivery, and investors will not be interested in one.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other question that you should think about is, instead of being in multiple cities, shouldn't you really expand in Chennai and fully deploy in Chennai? Because Chennai is a big city. It's going to take you some time to fully deploy in Chennai because there is overhead in doing multiple cities all at once. That's the other strategic question that you should think about.
If you don't mind, I'll just answer this. Chennai has been the primary focus, and this is where I'm just putting all my efforts and operations. Hyderabad and Coimbatore happens on request basis. That too we are doing just because we have a corporate, and as I told you, I have a corporate client for whom we are just providing the delivery captains. Okay, so we have request-based orders if we have request-based orders from Hyderabad, and we would have a list of captains. Okay, it's not like all the orders, we are not showing up all the orders every day. I mean, on request basis, we provide a service to the customers. If the captain is available, we provide them. Otherwise, we'll just say, no, we are not able to do this. It's on request.
Yeah. Okay. Focus on
this
Chennai
idea came up because of,
Okay. Looks good. So, if you are interested in raising financing through our services, you're going to need to follow the 1 million by 1 million premium program. I will talk about that a little bit later in the program. So hang on, let me finish talking to the other entrepreneurs, and then I will explain how to use 1Mby1M premium.
Sure, sir. Well, thank you so much for your feedback.
Very welcome. Good
and
execution.
All the best for others.
Okay, who's next? Thomas Jones, Falmouth, UK, Constructiv. Tom, please unmute your line.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yes, very well, thank you. Shall I just go straight into it then?
Yes, absolutely. What is Constructiv? What are you doing?
Cool. Thanks for having us today. So we're Constructiv. We're a recruitment platform for the construction industry. So I can tell you what we're doing. We are tackling jobs in construction. So the construction industry is worth over 10 trillion globally, and there are huge challenges facing the industry. Whereas other industries are seeing huge gains in productivity, the construction industry has seen a steady decline since the 60s. A mere 1% reduction in construction costs would save society $100 billion annually. And here at Constructiv, we're determined to improve the working environment in construction and in turn make it more productive. So how we're doing that is tackling the jobs market. And at the minute, our main focus is the UK, seeing as we're based in the UK. In the UK, there is a considerable labour shortage in the industry. And this enables, even though it's a very high employer, even given that 3.1 million people work in it in the UK, there's more jobs than there are workers. And this allows agencies, sort of recruitment agencies, to make a lot of money by kind of recruiting people. So it's £6.2 billion every year is made by these agencies. And so that's the kind of, that's what we're trying to enter. So we're doing that by developing a recruitment platform that connects job seekers with those seeking workers. So
where are you? Is it something that you've launched already, or it's something that you're just thinking about doing? What's the status?
Yeah, so we haven't launched yet. We're in the middle of we're kind of getting the tech and the MVP built, MVP and building it. So yeah, that's where we are, and that's kind of that's our kind of plan.
So what brings you here? What are you looking for in terms of help or advice on what?
Sure. So I suppose one of it is because it's just sort of practicing my pitching skills and showing people what we're up to, showing everyone what we're doing to kind of get as many insights as possible. We're kind of focused on the UK, but it's often interesting to hear what other people's perspectives are from different viewpoints. And so yeah, we're seeking investment, and we're also kind of looking for advice on how to grow and bring on the right people, I suppose. So
in general, it's very hard to raise money unless you launch and get going with a business, especially something like this. It's not a complicated idea. It's not an idea that's hard to understand or particularly new. It's you're applying online recruitment principles to the construction industry, and it already has competition, etc. So you're going to have to launch, you're going to have to show that you can recruit customers and make money and so forth before you can get investors. So my number one input is that, don't wait for financing, get going with bootstrapping. That's something that is required as a requirement.
So that's kind of where we are. We are bootstrapping at the minute. We're using our own funds, and we've got enough funding to cover ourselves until September. And then we would have kind of launched and kind of had some traction with customers. So we're pretty early stages. Yeah.
Good. And I will explain further how to use 1Mby1M if you're looking for further incubation, acceleration help a little bit later in the program. So if you hang on, you can, see what your options are from here. Good. All right, Zach, you're up next.
Thanks, Ramona. Really excited to be here today and to share this project with you. If you want to just go to the next slide real quick so you can put a face to the name. My name is Zach Silverzweig. I am a serial entrepreneur. I sold lollipops at a markup when I was in kindergarten. Started my own record label when I was in college, and about 2 years after school, found a startup that was in the healthcare technology space and joined as one of the co-founders doing product and technology. I was there for the last 8 years. We grew it to be a substantial business. We raised over $55 million along the way. And as part of our Series B, the last round, I took a little bit off the table in preparation for my next project, which is this. So really excited to be talking today about 1Mby, making tools and technology that allows children to learn to read faster, makes it a lot easier for them, and in that process brings them a lot more joy. You go to the next slide. Now, literacy is a global problem for sure, and I know from some of your work, like it's definitely top of mind. In the U.S., it's also a very big problem, and as you can see from some of the statistics here, this comes from big government studies that are done every year on literacy in the States. 65% of kids read at a basic level or below, and 1 in 10 read at an advanced level. And we're really hoping that through our technology and products, we can reverse those two numbers. They actually haven't changed in almost 30 years. The reading level in the United States has been relatively constant. And part of that is that it's a generational problem. So as adults grow up not being able to read, they have children and they don't have those strong literacy skills. They don't live in parent-rich environments, and then aren't able to bring their kids up out of that trap. So 30 million parents right now are the parents of 0 to 8-year-olds that also are very, very unlikely to grow up as really high literacy adults. Mm-hmm. You can go to the next slide. I'm going to try to jump through pretty quick because I know time's an issue. So one of the unique challenges in English is that it's especially confusing to read. And I have some examples as to why on the next slide, but that confusion, the lack of consistency in the English language, and it's a very unique problem in English, creates a lot of frustration. And I've seen that frustration firsthand. I saw it with my son. I'm seeing it now in the pilot that we're doing in Harlem with kids that have been learning to read with traditional methods. It's really, really challenging. And anytime you introduce a subject to a kid that they can't get right for unfair reasons, you're undermining their love of learning in general. And so that really has a damaging impact on their future. If we go to the next slide, I'll just talk briefly about exactly what's happening in English. So if you look on the right, it's a total mess. Right, you have the letter A, and here are 8 different examples of different words where that letter A is pronounced a different way. So my graph on the left shows each cluster represents one letter, and then the blue circles are organized by size, showing all the different potential pronunciations of that letter. So the letter A, we teach like A in cat, like the A sound. The most common is actually the sound like the word about. And this is data that didn't exist before. So I started off by working with my son and trying to teach him how to read, and I was trying to find words where the A had the normal A sound, and I discovered that you can't search for that on the internet. That didn't exist. So being an engineer, I started to code an algorithm, and I found the Carnegie Mellon Dictionary, which has a mapping of words and their pronunciations, and I've decoded through that algorithm the connection between the letters that we have and the sounds that they make. And the data set that we created out of that, I think, is awesome. If you can go to the next slide. So as a result of this analysis, this data, I developed a system that allows kids to read in a much, much easier way. This slide here is totally reasonable to read, and you can kind of see what the steps are that we did. We started off by creating a better alphabet, an alphabet that actually gives visual cues, so kind of like training wheels, so that kids know exactly which sound to make when they see the letter in a word. And then using that, we've created this whole dictionary that allows us to sort of do data analysis to see what are the most common letters that are used as they're used in real words that make up the English language. And all of that discovery, I've really figured out that there's a lot more logic to reading than we think. It's actually a lot easier than we think. It's just that it's been spelled wrong for about 800 years, back when the Vikings first started writing down English in the 800s. So with my system, you can teach a child 30 tips letters. So that's a letter, but it also includes a tip. So that could be like the S as a S in snake, right, is one. But another one would be the S like making a Z sound. So like in is or his or these. And after you teach the most 30 common tips, child can decode all by themselves, sound out perfectly with no exceptions, 30,000 words. And if I teach them 30 more, they can unlock 90% of the dictionary. So you might not be able to read the word treasure because it has a funny S at the end, but you could read chest filled with gems, right? So you can really read a ton of stuff. So we've started to make products based on this system. You can kind of see a simple example. This was one I had my son read. From a revenue model perspective, we can focus on it. You can see the little accent mark like above the O and 2. And he read it, and he laughed too after he read it. So it was a fun moment for us all. He's 3.5, by the way, right? So like to be able to sort of read that and sound that out, I think it's pretty extraordinary. And I don't think it's him being bright. I think it's the system itself. All right. So in terms of our products and our revenue sources, our model. So we've developed and we're working on a cross-platform digital learning game. We're going to sell that as a subscription B2C for $3.99 a month. That's the initial foray because in order to sell to the larger institutions, the education providers, schools, Department of Education, other governments, we're going to need case studies. We're going to need data that shows that this thing actually works. So we're using the B2C launch as a method to get that feedback from the community and to build up our case studies and our stories. The nice thing about the system, though, is that there's a lot of revenue potential in addition to the subscription. The subscription is nice for valuation, recurring revenue, but we also believe that there's going to be kind of big whales in the system, people that really fall in love with the tips reading method. And as we create content, whether that's puzzles or workbooks or flashcards or actual books, we can get the value of a particular customer up into the $200, $400, $600 range because we have this sort of very unique proprietary system, and children that are reading quickly in that system are going to need a lot of content to kind of fill that need. The other thing that's really powerful is the fourth bullet on here, the licensing of a scoring model. There's a company called Lexile. They do about $45 million a year in revenue, I believe, and they have a model for scoring text that's used by K through 12 for older kids. It tells you how complicated the book is using like syllable count and other kind of details related to the words. We have a scoring model that will work for early childhood literacy. So the way that we've decoded the language allows us to score the phonetic complexity of a word because we know how often that word is using letters that make particular sounds. So we can kind of aggregate all of that and then provide a scoring model that could be licensed out to publishers so folks can know exactly how to kind of tier their system and provide more insight to the customer. So on the data side, there's 20 million parents in the United States that have 3 to 6 year olds. So it's a rough estimate, but it's pretty close. We're going to go after those guys with paid advertisement and earned media. Meet the company that's putting an end to the ABCs or something like that. We're hoping to get people to just pause for a second. And you can see kind of some of the financial assumptions, the targets. I've done this before, so I realize that you can put a hockey stick that gets you to 20 million in 3 years, but I really like the model that you've been preaching and this idea of bootstrapping the company, having reasonable targets, and kind of making steady progress. So if I can do 100,000 of revenue my first year, I'm pretty excited about that. That would be kind of amazing. Targeting in the financial models to get to like 3 to 5 in a 2 to 3 year window. At which point we'd really try to raise some money and see if we could scale the business. Scaling the business long term is selling through Department of Education, the license model that we talked about, and then also content licensing. Content licensing we may actually try to tackle earlier on. It depends on our ability to kind of connect with some of these partners and sort of the credibility that we established through a couple of our early pilots. But the idea that we could take Star Wars or The Lion King or other really high quality Frozen and create readable content for kids that's sort of tiered and level based on our system is a really powerful piece. The last slide I wanted to include, because again, reading your background, the idea about validation. Turns out one of my good friends, who's an advisor from my earlier business, runs Alpha UX, which is a platform for concept testing, and he's let me use his very expensive platform for free. So I was able to survey 400 folks with our concept test, and the results were really awesome. We had 38% of those respondents said that they were responded to it extremely positive. We actually just today finished our second test, so we were able to run that first experiment on 400 people. Then we identified that the primary objection was, okay, cool, this is a cool system, but the real world is not written in tips, so what's going to happen to my kid after they learn this way? And we rewrote the concept test to address that exception up front. And after doing that, we've upped the extremely positive number to 43%, and 50% of the people who saw the concept indicated that they would be likely or extremely likely to purchase if it didn't cost very much, which was the only kind of pricing indication that we gave. So, we don't need every single person in the world to like it, but we feel like people were excited enough about the concept, they would click on our links, and we've got a couple of folks that could potentially support it. So that is where we are right now. Today's a really exciting day. I messaged Maureen just at the beginning. We're actually going live tonight with our Kickstarter. We've got a launch party in New York City, and we'll press play on the Kickstarter tonight, which is going to be selling the flashcards as well as early access to these other things. So that's kind of gives you a sense for where we are on the revenue side.
What's your question? What questions do you come here with?
So my biggest question actually is around the formation of a board of advisors, and thinking about that topic. The last business that I was at, we were a family office backed, and so we had a very sort of family office oriented board of directors for a long time. And I've been thinking a lot about trying to bring in a board earlier that has different types of expertise. Probably somebody from the finance world that could be a Series A or a Series B investor. Maybe they put in a little bit of angel capital just as a way to support the project. I'm not really looking for financing. I'm more looking for board continuity and trying to identify those folks up front, or maybe people that could help with the licensing side of the business, which is an area I don't have much experience. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that, and I think like everybody else, excited to just have a chance to pitch, a chance to meet you, and kind of hear what you thought about the project.
So I really like what you're doing. I think it's a very interesting concept, but there is going to be a question mark around proof is in the pudding, right? So as soon as possible, you're going to need to get an MVP out so that you can actually maybe put that MVP in the hands of 100 kids in a classroom and see how they use the product. So this business is going to be a product business, right? So the product needs to be able to stand on its own feet, and whether you sell it through the app store to consumers or whether you sell it through schools to classes to classrooms, either way, the product needs to work. And you need to, I would say, first order of business is to create the conditions under which this product works, and you can validate that it works. Right now your validation is based on, explaining the concept to people, but it's a far cry from explaining a concept to actually delivering a product. So that's my number one feedback, is that create the conditions in which, maybe you need some relationships with teachers, elementary school teachers who are teaching first grade or whatever, this kind of stuff, which, and maybe you get 100 of those teachers around you so that as soon as you have an MVP to put in their hands, they can start testing it and giving you feedback. So I'm not terribly concerned at the moment about what is the constitution of your board, finance people, etc. I think it's a little early for all that. Right now, the first order of business is to nail the product.
I like that. That's really helpful advice. I have my first pilot that we signed up that I started last week. So I've got my first 5 kids, and that's me up in the classroom teaching. So it's been a really fun experience and getting a lot. So your feedback here really resonates.
And I think you will be able to locate elementary school teachers, clusters of elementary school teachers, because these days, younger teachers are very, very tech savvy, and they're very much on the lookout for tools and technologies to enhance their teaching experience. So I think it's a matter of figuring out where the elementary school teachers are hanging out who teach reading, and just finding enough of them to engage with you, explain the concept to them and engage with them so that you can, you kind of prepare them to receive the product and put it in the hands of the kids in their classes as soon as your product is ready. So right now I would focus squarely on that.
Great. Yeah, good advice.
All right. Good luck.
Hi.
Venkk, you up next?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Venkk, and I'm an entrepreneur, technologist, and an innovator. My work is inspired by technology innovation and personal human empowerment. I operate under the paradigm of your potential is your passion. And I live in a town called Kumbakonam in South India, in Tamil Nadu state. I used to live in the United States and have been a technology consultant for more than a decade there. My latest innovation is light up the web. That's what I want to talk to you today about. And it's basically a public-private highlighter and a personal search engine. So basically, what is a highlighter? In my definition, highlighter is a tool that can be used to annotate the text on web pages. There are two modes of this highlighter. One is private mode, and another is public mode. When let's say you are in New York and you are reading New York Times, and you might want to, as you read through an article, you might want to highlight some of the parts of the article. And this highlight, when it is made in public mode, is visible to all other users when they open their screens up in their location. Basically, that is private mode where you make the highlights for your own self, and it's not given out to the public. And basically, it addresses the issue of.
I don't understand the product. So, what is the product that you're selling, and how do you make it?
Basically, right now the product is free. I want to gain users. Basically, it is a public-private highlighter.
So it's like a plugin to the browser?
It's an extension to the browser, Chrome browser.
Plugin for the Chrome browser, okay. So how is this a business? If you're going to give this out, this plugin for free, what point does this become a business and how?
Basically, my vision for this is to have an intellectual marketplace. You see, there are students going out to graduate school and doing odd jobs. They can use their intellect to annotate on web pages and create value. So that's the.
I'm not getting it, and I'm certainly not resonating with what you're saying. So you may want to rethink how this becomes a business, because if you want to if you want to just give out a free plugin to a browser,
not really.
A business.
I'm creating a marketplace for intellectual assets. Basically, let's say you want to read academic journal, but you don't have time to do that. A student can read it and make highlights on the important points of the document, right? And can charge some kind of economic model in this.
Okay. Do you have any evidence that this is something that people are interested in doing? Do you have any validation of your concept?
Because I don't have a product yet I only have the minimal product in the Chrome Web Store. I don't have this.
So what is your strategy? How are you going to go from where you are to a product that you can use to validate? What's the game plan?
I want to build this product in the next 6 months.
Okay.
And and take it from there.
But my suggestion is that don't build it without doing some level of validation with potential customers.
How do I validate? How do I go?
So you're trying to do a marketplace. You're going to have to validate with both sides of the marketplace. You have, on the one hand, you are expecting students to be willing to do this. Like if somebody wants to read an economics paper, you need economics students who are going to read this paper and highlight and synthesize and summarize what's in that paper for that person. So first and foremost, you need to talk to students, and in this use case, economics students, to see if they're willing to do this and what would they want to be paid to do this. And on the other end, you have to find people who want something like this done. So what is the target customer who's going to be willing to pay for this kind of work? So you're going to need to identify pockets of people who are willing to do this on both sides of the marketplace, talk to them, and see if they resonate with the concept.
Okay.
Okay? So that, I think, before you write a lot of software, I think that is your next step.
Okay, thank you. I'm interested in your premium program.
Okay. That's fine.
I want to hear more about that.
I'm going to speak about the program in just a moment. Let me finish with Narayana Reddy, and then I will talk about how to use the program in just a moment.
Okay.
Okay? You can ask questions after that. You're welcome. Narayana, you're up next.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi, Simrana.
Hello.
Hi, Simrana. How are you doing?
Please go ahead with your presentation.
I suggest you please go through once slides.
Sorry?
I suggest you please go through once all slides, please.
I can't hear you. You're cracking up.
I suggest you please once go through slides.
I go through the slides. You're asking me to just go through the slides.
Yeah. No, call to
Sorry?
Yeah, Samrana, I just want to.
I'm not sure what you're asking for. You're supposed to present the slides of what you're trying to do, like you heard everybody else do.
I just want to have a quick idea about what I want to tell you there. So mine is like I want to, I'm in the idea stage validation for to start my own clothing store, which is more of like a direct D2C model, which is like where we only design and we only manufacture and we only deliver at every doorstep.
Design what and manufacture what?
So more of like we'll take care of designs, clothing designs, and we'll take care of complete end-to-end manufacturing process and shipping process.
Of what?
It's more of like.
What kind of product?
It's like clothing stores.
Sorry?
So I just want, I'm in a validation phase actually. Actually, this industry is almost like saturation one. There are a lot of big players and always big players coming with a lot of innovations in the garment industry and all.
Are you talking about clothing?
Sorry?
Are you talking about clothing? Are
Yeah.
you designing and manufacturing clothing?
Yes.
So it doesn't say anywhere in your presentation that you're talking about clothing.
Yeah, it's like more of online.
I think I have a little bit of a sense of what you're trying to do, so I'm going to just give you, since you're struggling to present this, I'm going to give you a little bit of guidance here. If you're trying to do design and manufacturing, custom design and manufacturing of clothing, you have to pick a category in which you want to work, whether it's male, female, what style, what kind of clothing formal, Indian, ethnic. You decide on where you want to play. So this is a very, very logistics-heavy industry, and
Okay.
you can't do everything. Your first statement in your presentation is a flawed statement. On the mission to build for everyone, you shouldn't be building for everyone. You should be building for a segment of as precise a segment as possible. So that's my number one feedback. And otherwise, if you just hang on, I will talk to you in the process of explaining to you how to use 1 million by 1 million, because I think you need some training rapidly and urgently.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
So folks,
So
if you like what we're doing,
stage, so I just want to.
just hang on, Narayan. I think I understand where you are. Just hang on. And if you put your line, because you're streaming a lot of this call. Maureen, could you mute Narayan's line, please? Thank you. All right. If you like what we're doing here, my request to you is to bring serious entrepreneurs into 1 million by 1 million. And the word serious is in bold because we are looking for people who have the stamina to put in years of work in building something. And that's the only way you build serious companies. So in terms of resources, you go to 1Mby1M.com. We have a blog. If you just read the blog, and we have lots of people who learn just by reading the blog. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series is also a very good body of learning material. They are case study-based books. Each book has 12 to 16 case studies. You can start there as well. These free roundtables happen every week, and you can continue to join them, and you can also listen to the recordings. You will learn a lot from them as well. The full acceleration program from 1M by1M is 1M by1M Premium. You get extensive methodology guidance, a full curriculum, digital curriculum that you can access from anywhere in the world. And this is really helpful for many of you who don't have the experience of writing something. So Narayana, for instance, for you, this would be perfect, is to access the curriculum and just study the curriculum, and you'll learn a lot from that. In the premium program, beyond curriculum, we have methodology guidance, we have strategy consulting, mentoring, coaching, all of that. And we also help you with financing, and we have a lot of PR cloud. Go to the website and look at the self-assessment. There's a bunch of questions that investors would ask you. We suggest that you ask these questions of yourselves and try to answer them. If you get stuck, you can sign up for 1M by1M Basic, which is just $99 a month, and you can access the curriculum from anywhere in the world. And this curriculum will help you tremendously in learning what you need to do to put one foot before the other. Anyway, go to the website. We have extensive discussions, descriptions of the premium program, what to expect, the basic program, what to expect, FAQs, video FAQs. You should be able to basically use the website to answer your questions on how to leverage this program. The curriculum is described in great detail. It's a case study-based curriculum with case studies and video lectures. Over 1,000 successful entrepreneurs have been part of the case study program. Our methodology is lean, capital-efficient, bootstrap startups. The philosophy is bootstrap first, raise money later. And that's it. We have free roundtables every week right now, one more in January, and then every week in February. We also have online rendezvous that are on LinkedIn Live, Facebook, Twitter. There's one tomorrow at 8 a.m. PST, so you can dial in on LinkedIn Live or Facebook or Twitter. Usually these are on Tuesdays. And then we have in-person rendezvous as well. We just had one yesterday, and then we have one on February 5th and one on February 19th. You can, if you're in Silicon Valley or if you're visiting Silicon Valley, you can come and meet me in person at Cafe Boroni. You'll find the schedule on the website. That is all. We are open for Q&A now. If anybody from the audience wants to talk, you can dial in. You can also ask questions in public chat. Either way is fine. The call-in numbers are on the screen, the access on the screen. If you have questions about the program, Please contact Irina Patterson, irina@1mby1m.com. She's very knowledgeable about the program and can answer all your questions about 1M by1M. Okay, questions, anybody? Questions, comments, feedback, issues? Maureen, who is streaming all this noise? You could mute whoever is streaming this noise, that would be very helpful. In any case, is there anybody who has questions? If you don't have questions, I'm going to adjourn the session. All right, well, looks like nobody has questions. We've done 5 pitches, and we'll be back here next week. So if you want a slot to pitch, go to the website under Free Public Roundtables and register to pitch. 1 second, I see some questions here in public. Venkk Sastry has sent Maureen private questions. Can you please send me the link for premium 1M by1M? Maureen, have you sent Venkk the link?
Yes.
And Zach, I wanted to thank you for the time. It was great to have the opportunity to talk to you at my milestone, but having a few external ones is important to keep the momentum going. Kindergarten class I'm working with is doing great, but we will see over the next few months just how it goes. Very good. I like your concept a lot, Zach. I think it's a very interesting way to teach. And English is a confusing language because of all those externalities. All right. I will see you next week, maybe. And meanwhile, hope you make a lot of progress. See you soon. Bye.